Hello class, so today we're going to talk about multiplying a given number by a fraction. And more importantly, we're going to talk about when the fraction is greater than 1, the number is going to get bigger. But when the fraction is smaller than 1, the number is going to get smaller. So we have here just a quick review of stuff we've already been over. We know 4 is the same thing as 4 over 1, but 1 can be represented by 7 over 7, because 7 divided by 7 is 1. And that we know 1 half is 0.5, and 3 halves is 1.5. So here we have some pizzas. So each pizza has 8 slices, and they both have all of their slices intact. So we know that we have 2 pizzas, so we currently have 16 over 8. We have 16 slices, and each pizza has 8, and 16 over 8 is 2. So the numerator is the top number, and that's the slices of pizza we currently have, so 16. The denominator is the bottom number. That's the total slices that the pizza originally came with, so 16 over 8. So what if we eat 2/8 of the pizza? Remember that of is a word that we use to say multiplication. The equation would look like 2/8 times 2, or 2/8 times 16 over 8. We're to use when we multiply that we are used to when we multiply the number gets bigger, but not always. 2/8 times 2 is really asking how much, when we take 2/8 out of each pizza, how much do we take out? So we have 1, 2, that's 2/8, and then we have 2/8. So we really took 4 slices of pizza out. So when we add those together, we really have 4/8 of a pizza. So we took half of a pizza out when we took 2/8 of each pizza. So 2/8 is really 1 half. And how do we do this with actual math? So we have here our 2/8 and our 16th eighths, and we're taking 2/8 and 16th eighths is really 2. So we have our numerators here, and when we times fractions, we all know that we multiply across. So 2 times 16 is really 32. 8 times 8 is 64. So we have 32 times 64 when we multiply across, and we can see that we can simplify that if we divide both sides by 32 and it equals 1 half. So mathematically we can see that 2/8 of 2 is 1 half. So going back, we found that our pizza is actually less when we take 2/8 of it out. So 2/8 times 2 is 1 half. So if we multiply our pizza by a number greater than 1, it will actually be a bigger number. When we go back to our pizza, if we find out how much 3 halves of our pizza would be, we have to know that 3 halves is 1.5, which means that when we multiply 1 by 3 halves, we get a full pizza and a half a pizza. So we can find that multiplying a number by anything bigger than 1 will make our number bigger. So let's practice this real quick. We have here 1/3 times 1 is going to be less than or equal to 1. Well, we know 1/3 is less than 1. And we know that whenever a fraction is less than 1, it's going to make this number smaller. So we know that this full one is going to be bigger because the 1/3 is going to make this one smaller. So we go back over here and we have 4/3. Well, we know that that 4/3 is bigger than 1. So since this fraction is bigger than 1, it's going to make this one bigger. So this one's going to be greater than this one. So we go back over here and we have 4s. But we see that this is a 7/8 times 4. So we know that this fraction is smaller than 1. So it's going to make this number a smaller number. So we know that this 4 is going to be greater than this 4. We come here and we see that we have 7s. So we have a 9/3, and 9/3 is bigger than 1. So we know that this 9/3 is going to make this 7 larger. We don't technically know how much larger it is going to be right now, but for this assignment, we know that this 7 is going to be larger because this fraction is greater than 1. And then we come back here and we have 4/9. We know that this is going to make this 3 smaller. So we take the 4/9 and we times it by 3. We know that's going to be smaller. So we know this 3 is going to be greater than this because the 4/9 is going to make this full 3 smaller. And that is our quick review for fractions. We will talk about it more in class tomorrow. Thank you.